on this episode of A Tale of Two Hygienists.
And I love what you said. Toothpaste is something that is so often overlooked. We are so focused on how they're exactly removing that biofilm with a toothbrush or with interdental brushes or with interdental aids that we forget what toothpaste is actually there to help do. And it's really there to help in that process. We forget that, and we don't ask our patients really what type of toothpaste they're using. Toothpaste is one of the most powerful prescriptions we don't have to write. Toothpaste is an important aspect, and so when we're able to provide our patients with different types of toothpaste that can be beneficial for them, I always think that that's a winner because we're just rounding out the oral hygiene instruction for our patients.
Yeah, this is a tale, oh yeah, a tale of two hygienists. So there might be only one, bringing the best of dental knowledge, and we do it all with ease. We cover oral health and screening, and preventing gum disease. We're gonna do a lot of learning, and have a little bit of fun working at the dentist. A tale of two hygienists.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of A Tale of Two Hygienists podcast. This is a special bonus episode brought to you in partnership with our friends over at TheraBreath. You've heard me talk about TheraBreath quite a bit over the last several months. I'm a frequent user, really enjoy their products, and on this episode, we talk not only about their mouth rinse, but their new toothpaste. And I think these types of episodes are really important. These are refresher courses for us as professionals and how to make a decision on recommendations that we give to our patients. I think sometimes we get into our routines, we don't look at what's new, and when we do that, we often don't give the best to our patient. At the same time, I feel like we can't always go with what's new and shiny. We have to go with the evidence-based products. And Melissa Calhoun joins us on this episode. She explains how this new line of TheraBreath toothpaste satisfies that need. Don't forget, if you want your office to get free samples, head over to hygienesquad.com/TheraBreath. That's hygienesquad.com/TheraBreath to sign up. Thanks for joining us. I know you'll enjoy this episode with Melissa Calhoun.
A tale of two hygienists.
Listeners, welcome into this special bonus episode brought to you in part by TheraBreath, joined today by Melissa Calhoun. Melissa, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Andrew, for having me. I always enjoy hanging out with you.
So, look,
Sure.
listeners, if you haven't heard our really fun episode that we just launched, go back and listen to that one because it was really, really fun. We had a great time at RDH Under One Roof. It feels like, by the way, that was just yesterday, but it's now been several months. Like, man, where's the time go?
It goes by pretty fast. I agree. It does seem like just yesterday though.
It's toothpaste is interesting because day one of dental hygiene, we're talking about toothpaste, right? Day one, meeting our patients, we're talking about toothpaste. Like toothpaste is integral to what we do as dental hygienists, but I think it sometimes doesn't get the love maybe that it might deserve. And I think sometimes it's because we overlook it. And so that's kind of the overarching theme for today, listeners. But before we get into that, Melissa, for those that are listening to this podcast for the first time, never heard of who you are, can you give us a little bit of background of who you are, where you're coming from, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I am a military spouse, so I've been all over the country. I've lived in 5 different states, and I've been a licensed practitioner, dental hygienist, excuse me, for a little over 20 years. I currently reside in Texas, where I am a full-time instructor of dental hygiene at Tarrant County College in right outside of Fort Worth, Texas. So I'm very close to where RDH Under One Roof was this summer, and it was great to have it here in Texas. So I enjoy being here. I think this is the last stop on our military voyage, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, 'cause I was say, I think one of our first interviews, I think you were headed out to California, and then now it's like, oh my goodness, you've been
Yes,
everywhere.
it's funny when I meet people that know that I'm a military spouse and know that I have moved. They'll say things like, "Oh, I thought you lived in Maryland," and I'm like, "Oh, that was 2 states ago." And then they'll say, "Oh, didn't you just move to California?" And I'm like, "Yes, it does seem like I just moved to California, but it's been." I was in California for 2 years, and I've almost been in Texas for 2 years. December will make 2 years, so time really goes really fast.
Yeah, I know, it really does. And
Yeah.
listeners, I mean, we'll have to do this in a different episode, but we were talking before we got on about licensure in different states and kind of what that looks like. No one probably has, as much experience as you, if, very few handful of people probably do moving around getting licensed in other states. It's a fascinating topic. We'll have to have you on for that recap.
I'd
But I,
love
I
to.
said something at the beginning of this podcast, and maybe you need to fix me because I might have not told the truth. I said day one dental hygiene school, we're talking about toothpaste. You're in the dental hygiene programs. Is that can't be really be true. I don't remember day 1.
No, I don't think it's day 1, but at our program, they do take preventive that very first semester, so it is pretty close that they're going to be learning very early on in their hygiene voyage that they will be learning about toothpaste. So, and I love what you said. Toothpaste is something that is so often overlooked. We are so focused on how they're exactly removing that biofilm with a toothbrush or with interdental brushes or with interdental aids that we forget what toothpaste is actually there to help do, and it's really there to help to in that process, right? So, it's got that, with the toothbrush, it's got that mechanical mechanism of helping to remove that biofilm. So we forget that, and we don't ask our patients really what type of toothpaste they're using, and that really
Honestly,
should
I
be
can't remember the last
important.
time that I've done that. I have every intention to do it, and I just forget. And I just like, "Oh, this is," I again, just this is an underrated thing. I've overlooked it, and dang it.
Yeah, the number of patients, the number of patients that I have talked to about toothpaste in the last 4 years prior to coming into education, so let's go 5 years, was really an eye-opening experience because I started really loving the Church& and Dwight, the Arm& and Hammer, TheraBreath lines, and so
Mhm,
I really enjoyed talking to patients about what would be best for them and what they were really looking for in a toothpaste, and they didn't realize the importance that toothpaste had in their oral health care. They just thought they went in, grabbed whatever they wanted to off the shelf. Usually, it depended on flavor, like, they wanted, I mean, I'll admit, I like a toothpaste. I like the flavor of it. I
mhm.
don't think, about well, I guess prior to being a hygienist, it wasn't, let me think about how well this is cleaning my teeth. It was more, well, I want it to be flavorful. It's kind of like kids. Think about it. They don't use a minty toothpaste because it's too spicy, but
Mhm.
they love the bubblegum flavor or the watermelon flavor or whatever they have out there. They enjoy the flavor, not they don't really understand what it's actually doing.
So, I mean, obviously, I feel like we have okay, so when we know more, we do better.
Mhm.
Is there something to so this is a little bit going out on a limb here, but, like, is there something to the, like, you have your tried and true, you have your go-to, but should you be switching up, like, toothpaste, either brands or types of toothpaste? Like, the toothpaste that are indicated for a certain condition, we'll say.
So, like, let's take, for example, your patients who have sensitivity. You would want something that has fluoride in it. You would want something that has maybe a potassium nitrate in it to help to block those dentinal tubules, right? And so, or we have our high concentration, toothpaste, fluoride toothpaste, right? That have the 5,000 parts so that it's it's a higher concentration to help to reduce caries. So, yes, I definitely think that patients need to change them up. I heard this somewhere and I'm not that your sensitive toothpaste really shouldn't be used for an extended period of time, right? It should only be used for a couple of weeks, kind of like our CPC mouth rinse, right? We don't want to use that for an extended period. It's really there to help fight gingivitis. So we want to use it for a period of time, reduce that inflammation, and then move on to something else. So I think changing up our toothpaste is I use one in the morning and one at night. I use different, just because, I use a dry mouth formula at night and I use my regular non-dry mouth formula in the morning. So I think it's a good thing to change it up and keep everything, fresh, if you will.
Ha, good one.
I'm
Okay,
here all day.
let's all right, and so this might be a little bit of review, probably for your students that you teach, but also for maybe like, someone that's been out for a little bit that the active ingredients in toothpaste have changed in some regards, but not all regards. And I think it might be worth kind of letting our listeners know, it's like, okay, what are the ones that we need to be paying attention to? What are the ones that are out there? How do we make those decisions between the active ingredients lists?
So when we're talking about active ingredients, obviously every toothpaste has a cleaning agent. So there's hydrated silica, there's calcium pyrophosphate, there's dicalcium phosphate, and then there's my favorite, baking soda. Those are different ingredients that help to actually do that mechanical helping of removing away the biofilms. There's also fluorides in toothpaste. There's stannous and there's sodium fluoride. Those are the two main ones that are in toothpaste these days. Flavor, I already mentioned that. That's a big one. You can have a tried and true peppermint, my grandfather used like the most spicy peppermint toothpaste on the market. I think it just was straight peppermint. But it was so spicy. But there's like a there's some that are these mild mint flavors, and there's some that have, a spearmint taste to them. And kinda gives you an opportunity to, get different flavors that you might like, and one toothpaste might not be, what you're going for, but, it might be something your spouse loves, so you end up with all kinds of different toothpastes in your house.
I've Yeah, I've seen the mild flavors coming out a little bit more. I'm not sure if that's more of like people are having sensory issues or, it's been a hit though. Like, I feel like the ones that used to
Absolutely.
hit you over the head so hard, like those super spicy ones,
Mhm.
are maybe a
Don.
little bit phasing out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think that those are I think our consumers are wanting things that are not feeling like it's so, take your breath away with some of the toothpaste. So they want those milder flavors to they're a little more palatable for the 2 minutes. I mean, sometimes I've tried some toothpaste that it's hard to brush for 2 minutes because of the fact that it's so overbearing, so I mean, I kinda like the milder flavors, but yeah. I do wanna mention that, like, working with Church& and Dwight, they have a CE out on dental learning that talks about all of the different ingredients that are in toothpaste, and I'll get that link to you, so that you can put it in the show notes, but that really opened my eyes to the why things are in toothpaste, because patients ask all the time, "What is this ingredient and why is it in there?" And I'm like, "Oh, I I don't know." But this CE really broke down the things that were in toothpaste and why they're in there. Like, why is hydrated silica in toothpaste? Well, it's to help, mechanically remove that biofilm away. Why is fluoride in there? Why do they have different types of fluoride? It's because the different types of fluoride have different roles, right? Some are more, they're great for enamel strength, like your sodium fluoride, but then you have your stannous fluoride, which helps with plaque control and gum health and enamel health. So it's kind of got the whole trifecta, if you will. It's kind of helping everything at one time, which can be very beneficial to many of our patients.
It's
So,
interesting because I practiced in the Pacific Northwest quite a bit, and when we were on one side of the mountains, living in the farming communities and stuff, people would come in and just be like, "Hey," they don't look at the ingredients list. They're just like, "Hey, is this gonna fix my cavities?" You know? And I'm like, "Well, I mean, kind of, it's gonna help maybe prevent some stuff," but then they were never really asking for, the ingredients list. And it wasn't really until I moved to the other side of the state where you have, like, your Seattles and your Portlands and your kind of some of your bigger cities where people are really diving in deep and anymore, they have their phones out and they're, like, looking at themselves and, chat GPTing the the ingredients list now. But you're right, though,
yes,
it is so important to know you don't wanna be in that situation as the healthcare provider where you don't know what these ingredients do,
right.
because you lose the trust of the patient real darn quick if you are like, I don't
If
know,
you
it's
don't know the
something."
basics of toothpaste, the thing that, like, you're a hygienist, like, you should kind of have that good understanding. Where it really hit me was I lived in Maryland, and Maryland has a a high tick population. You're like, "Where are you going with this, Melissa?" Alpha gal is a tick-borne disease that happens where you can't eat anything that an animal that has hoofs, right? Well, gelatin is made from that, right? And so if you have toothpaste that like in a gel form, sometimes it might have a gelatin compound in it. And so that compound, like that patient can't use that. And so that was the first time that I really had a like, I need to know my ingredients because this patient had to be very, and and now I'm gonna blank on the ingredient that's in there. It starts with a C, but it is actually an ingredient in a lot of toothpaste that that does contradict, with the patient who has alpha gal. So and it's so funny because you move to other states and they have no idea what that is. But,
Mhm.
in Maryland, everybody knew what that was, and it affected anybody that lived up there and was, you know, bitten by a tick. So it was kind of
Well,
an
I
interesting.
think that by the way, yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. It just no, it's almost like yeah, how was that? Where are you going with this one? But interactions with different things are really important to know, especially for your area. But I think that maybe the easiest takeaway from all of this is grab a toothpaste that doesn't have a bunch of ingredients you don't know or recognize or can't say or can't pronounce. Like you've seen those TikToks all the time when people are like, "Let me just read the instruction or the ingredients list," and they're like dimethyl tricalcimated, and they just can't figure out the words. So maybe it's just easier to have like a or it's better to have just like an easier ingredients list to begin with.
A little cheat sheet in there, yeah, that has that, and that's the one thing, knowing what the different ingredients are and how they can be beneficial and why they're in there. Because sometimes they're in there just to be a preservative, and other times they're in there because they're actually beneficial. Toothpaste active ingredients are usually sodium fluoride or your stannous fluoride. Those are gonna be or your potassium nitrate. Those are gonna be your active ingredients. Everything else is just there to be beneficial at helping to remove biofilm.
One of the things that I've been talking to listeners on the podcast, and you're a listener, so I've been talking about this, but we've been talking a lot about TheraBreath's mouth rinse line, and I know that we're gonna be talking about their toothpaste line that they're just introducing. But it's been a favorite of mine for quite some time. It's been now about a year and a half that I've been using them, since I got the samples of them. When they told us that we were gonna be having some toothpaste on there, I got actually weirdly excited. It's been a long time since I've been excited about a toothpaste.
Well, because I mean, so TheraBreath made it really big. So I'm trying to think when it really hit. I've known about TheraBreath since like 2006, 2007. And it's because
What?
because the dentist I worked for, he swore by it and loved it because of the fact that he had allergies and he always felt as though he had bad breath. And so
Yeah.
he loved TheraBreath. And so when Church and Dwight acquired TheraBreath, it was this is so cool. And TheraBreath hit the market in about 20, I mean, well, not hit the market. It had been around for a while, but 2021, 2022, TikTok. It became a TikTok sensation. And so I would go work the booth at, with Church and Dwight, and people would be like, "Oh, I've seen this on TikTok. This is awesome, blah, blah, blah." And these were dental professionals. These weren't people, this wasn't the public. These were dental professionals who had never heard of it, never, knew anything about it. And they were coming wanting to sample the mouth rinses simply because of the fact that they saw it on TikTok.
How
Right?
crazy.
So that's how it got its big thing. I love being able to, work the booth and show like have people try the samples because I, like you, Andrew, I think it's a phenomenal mouth rinse. It has, one of the things that Dr. Katz really wanted, Dr. Harold Katz created it in the mid 90s because he had a daughter that had a bad breath issue. And so gum, mints, nothing really worked for her. So he went to the drawing board and tried to find something that was going to help with this. So he created the TheraBreath mouth rinses. And his big thing was he didn't want dyes and he didn't want that burning sensation. So he did not want alcohol in it. So those were his
Mhm.
two main things that he did not want. So like, and what I hear from people and myself, I'm sure you can say this too. I love the fact that it gives that fresh, clean feeling without feeling like my tissue's about to, burn off.
Melt off. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the part that I really like about it. And when consumers and dental professionals would come to the booth and they would taste it, that's what they would say too. They were like, "Oh, it doesn't burn. Oh, it doesn't it man, it really makes my teeth feel really clean." And so that I mean, that kinda has been TheraBreath being tried and true at that point. They've been really, good at holding that down. And so I am excited about the toothpaste that will be coming out. So, actually, I think when this airs, they will already be out.
So, what's interesting is like, okay, so I tried it and I was like, we're good, we're good. And so my daughter had surgery this last year and I was thinking about this quite a bit. I'm like, you know what? One of the reasons when we're in hygiene school and then we do like service days, a bunch of friends would just be like, hey, let's go into the retirement homes and let's go, try and help people. Like we'll clean the dentures, we'll do whatever we can do to kind of help people. And it was when she had back surgery and she was in the hospital for several days. And when you have those types of surgeries, I would assume like abdominal surgeries, and I would assume there are
Mhm,
several other types of surgeries where you need to not cough. You need not that kind of jerking reaction.
mhm,
For her, she couldn't even really bend, or she wasn't supposed to twist at the waist kind of a thing, right? So you think about all of the millions of people that are in the United States that have very similar things, or maybe they have, you know, um, weak musculature in their throat so they can easily cough or things like that. Their breath was so great about having that intentionality of not burning, not hurting, and not causing that reaction that people often have.
mhm.
I know that they probably don't want me saying this, and I'm gonna say it anyways because that's who I am and that's what I do sometimes. But I have accidentally swallowed a little bit of it one time or maybe a couple times, and it was fine. I didn't have that kind of that reaction that you can kinda have when things get caught in your throat, you know?
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Man, there are millions upon millions of people who would benefit from this if they are stuck in a situation like my daughter was."
So, I'm gonna ask you this. Do you know which one you were using that you accidentally swallowed?
No, because I had all 3 on the counter at the same time, or
Was one
the
of them the
3.
pink one? The pink one is the only one that has fluoride in it. So, technically, it's not you're not really, I wouldn't go around saying swallow it, but, the one that's,
That's a good point. That's a good
the
point. I think it
only
was the
one that
green
has
one, though.
fluoride in it is the one that's why, you know, my son had tonsil stones at, like, 6, 7 years old, and he wasn't the best gargler, but I had him gargling with the green TheraBreath because it was mild. It was mild enough
Mhm.
for him to not be like, "Oh, this is too spicy." If you haven't figured it out, my kids use the word "picey" instead of "spicy" when they were little, and so I can't say it any other way. And so but he would use that to help, and
Mhm.
so that's what I love about TheraBreath, and the fact like I said, the fact that they're coming out with this toothpaste line that is gonna I it's going to have the same intentions and they're gonna be intentional about things just like they have been with their mouth rinses, and that's what makes it
Nice.
so great. So, there are going to be 3 that are gonna be coming out, this fall. There is the, uh there is the Healthy Gums, there is the Deep Clean, and then there's the Whitening. Alright, so they have the 3 different toothpastes that are coming out. So let's talk about the healthy or the deep clean. The deep clean active ingredient is stannous fluoride. Flavor-wise is gonna be a very mild flavor. It's gonna pair well with all of our mouth rinses. So it's not the other thing about our new toothpaste line is their flavors are so mild that they're gonna be great to pair with any of the mouth rinses. So, just because you're using the deep clean toothpaste doesn't mean you necessarily need to use the deep clean mouth rinse. You could use
Nice.
the mild mouth rinse, or you can use the invigorating mouth rinse. Or if you like the reinforcement, you can use that one too. So, you can use them with all of them. Now, the deep clean provides 12 hours of fresh breath. And that we did a study that showed that, and so that's great, just like our mouth rinses do the same thing. So you're getting that benefit of fresh breath. The Healthy Gums had 2 studies. One showed the 12 hours of fresh breath, and the other study was to look at the removal of biofilm on the gum line, and it showed that it reduced the biofilm on the gum line for up to 24 hours, which is really helpful to, a lot of our patients. So that's good. The other thing, going back to TheraBreath, it's both the healthy gums and the deep clean have the no burn feeling. So it's going to give those patients a nice, gentle toothbrushing. The healthy gums also comes in some mild flavors. It's got a mild peppermint and a mild spearmint with a little bit of vanilla. I'm really, really excited about using that one. I think that's going to be just amazing. But again, just because you're using the healthy gums to help with removing that biofilm off of your gum line and off of your enamel, you don't have to use the healthy gums mouth rinse. You can use any of them. And because it's got that nice little spearmint flavor in it, I think it would pair well with my favorite, which is the anti-cavity. The anti-cavity is the trifecta. It has the sodium chloride to help with a fresh breath. It has your fluoride to help anti-cavity. And then it also has the xylitol, which is, we know that xylitol is a great product. So with those three, it's the trifecta, and that's why that one's my favorite mouth rinse. But so that's the healthy gums. And then our last toothpaste is the whitening. Now, the whitening does have 35% baking soda in it, which makes it less abrasive. Not that the other ones are, but baking soda with 35% is therapeutic and leaves it with a lower abrasivity. And then it also has no peroxide in it, which is amazing. Now, instead of using stannous fluoride, so the TheraBreath whitening, there is sodium fluoride and the baking soda, and those are the two main ingredients in that one. All right, so as dental professionals, we know we love to give samples to our patients. TheraBreath has samples in the healthy gums, and you will be able to get those after October 1st. You can visit hygienesquad.com/TheraBreath to get free samples. I'll also send that over to Andrew so he can put that in the show notes. So, as you learned, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to toothpaste.
I love it.
And toothpaste is one of the most powerful prescriptions we don't have to write. It's something I say all the time. Like, we don't always think about the toothpaste. We said it at the beginning of this episode. It's not something that's usually on the forefront of our mind. We're usually worried about other things, but toothpaste is an important aspect. And so when we're able to provide our patients with different types of toothpaste that could be beneficial for them, I always think that that's a winner because we're just rounding out the oral hygiene instruction for our patients.
Buddy, I love it. I'm glad that you're the nerd about the toothpaste. We need people like you in the industry advocating for our patients, but also helping us dental professionals, right? I think that's really important. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah, listeners, I'll make sure I put all that stuff in the show notes, and you'll have that to reference if you wanted to get some samples for your office and get your patients trying it as well. But thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I always enjoy it.
All right, listeners, that is our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to reach out to all of our guests. Give us a follow on social media. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you have a minute, head over to our website and sign up for our newsletter. All right, we'll see you on the next one. This has been a production of Endeavor Business Media, a division of Endeavor B2B.